What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Sideline Sports. I am Trevor, your host. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, and hit that bell notification. Next time a podcast comes on, you'll get that notification. And before we start talking about Giants baseball today, just one last reminder that we have Daryl, the Guru Johnson, showing up tomorrow. First guest on the show. Super excited to talk Warrior basketball. It should be uploaded and ready for you all to watch by 5 p.m. tomorrow. Now, let's get into Giants baseball. Not a whole lot going on with the Giants baseball front this week. Too much, but there is one signing that I was really excited about. They got him cheap because he is coming in on a rookie deal, and that is Josué de Jesus. He is a very, very good, outstanding, amazing even shortstop out of Aruba. And there's not too many players that come out of Aruba, but I think he's number 16, and he is absolutely great pickup for the money. I think the Giants signed him for about $2 million, almost $3 million, which in my mind could be really great. They need a shortstop, somebody who can hit, and somebody who can play ball, and this guy can do it all. He has the potential to come onto this team at some point this year, maybe even in the beginning of the year, and make an impact. So let's just watch and see what happens with him, but I think it was a great move by Buster Posey to bring this guy in. I don't know if it was a long shot or who else was going for this guy, but he's been on the radar in the Dominican Republic for quite some time now as one of the top players out there, and I think the Giants landing him was a really, really good move by the Giants, considering they're not able to land a superstar right now. And even if they wanted to, they don't want to give the farm away because they don't have much to give away in the first place. After getting Verlander, they're focusing more on power right now. They need to get a bat, and I've heard other names out there, but I'm not going to mention them because honestly, it's just throwing crap against the wall, and it makes absolutely no sense. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., I mentioned it. He's not coming, guys. There's no way to make that trade without giving up the farm and draft picks and everything else for him. It just makes no sense. So anybody who sees that article out there about the Giants going after a superstar like him, that's not going to happen, guys. So don't listen to that crap. It's just that's actually why I got into doing this podcast and sports podcast, because I want to talk realistic, real sports scenarios, not this crap that can never possibly happen. People out there listening to it and getting excited. Oh, this guy might come to the Giants. He's not coming to the Giants because the Giants are not mortgaging off everything that they have for this guy. They have some good players now. They're building the team. I like where the team's going, but don't expect a huge splash like that. I don't think. You never know, but I just don't see that happening. So good pickup with De Jesus. I think it's a great move. We have other ones. Rainier Espinoza was signed as a free agent. Great outfielder. I think he's got potential to make a move and have a spot on this team possibly. Jose Gonzalez. There's some other ones. Those are the two main ones that I saw that I was like, maybe those guys make the team. But, there are some moves here that the Giants are making just to get their AAA team filled and maybe have some players vie for some spots on the Giants roster this year, depending on how they do. I really believe that this coming training camp is going to be a competition. This team is all about getting the best players on the field now. There's not a lot of options right now, aside from the ones that we know for sure that are starting, and it's not many. So look for this training camp for the Giants to actually be more of a competition for tryouts, for outfield mostly. Outfield, not mostly. We got outfield. We got shortstop. We got a first baseman that is pretty good. Not sure if he's going to be there. I've heard trade rumors, so there might be something there to that. We need batters more than anything else. So anybody who comes through training camp and has a good training camp, who's hitting well, might get that shot to start with the Giants in the regular season. So don't expect the Giants to make a lot of noise this year. If they make a wild card spot, that is this team moving forward and winning. I really, truly believe that. They are a team of the future. I wouldn't even try to compare, I wouldn't even compete with the Dodgers right now. It's just not going to happen. Everybody wants to go to the Dodgers. You're going to have to wait for that wave to be over. The Dodgers are going to be a good team for a couple of years, and the Giants are still building. So to take the Dodgers down at this point would just be wishful thinking. There's really no chance, I don't think, of that happening right now. But if the Giants quietly build for the next 2 years or 3 years, they could come up and be a really, really great team that can vie for a World Series at that point. I just don't see it this year, but I do see a lot of great building around the team. And you never know. With baseball, you can talk about these teams putting superstars together, but there's guys out there that can make a name for themselves and come up and start playing baseball and can turn the team around. And you never know. You never know. Could turn the team around. So I don't want to say they can't be the Dodgers, but right now it doesn't make sense to think that that's a realistic possibility, the way the team is constructed now. But you never know going into the season what might happen. Moves need to continue to be made. I do think Buster Posey, with his basically reputation in the Major League Baseball, and the way that people respect him, I do think a lot more players are going to be looking at the Giants and thinking twice about signing with them. Before, it was just an absolute no for, I think, a lot of reasons: taxes, can you win here, etc. And when you have the Dodgers right there, it makes it really tough for a player to say yes to the Giants. But I do think that Buster Posey brings that aura around him that will attract players, and over time, we're going to see that happen. It's just going to take some time. It's going to be slow moving, but as long as it's slow moving in the right direction, that's what you want to see, and pretty soon, players will come. Golden State Warriors were not a destination for any player. It was a place where players went to die, but that is no longer the case. That's because you build around the team, you build within the draft, and when you have something successful and fun and a place where people want to come play, you're going to get those players that want to come and play for your team instead of just turning you down right away. So anyway, I think that was a good pickup for the Giants. I do think that they're moving in the right direction. I do think they're going to land a superstar or two and maybe turn out one or two from the G League, or not the G League, but AAA League. Sorry, I get that mixed up because I got Warriors going on in my head too. But I do think a couple of AAA guys could come up and make an impact. Their rotation is still not 100% great, so I would expect to see some competition for pitching. They do need a couple of left-handed batters, and a couple of left-handed pitchers would be nice. They're kind of lacking in that area. So I do think that those two things need to be addressed. So I would look for them to target a left-handed bat or two and a left-handed pitcher or two to at least compete. It would be nice if they could get a veteran in. Let's see what they do. It's far from over. There's lots of moves that can still be made. Trades can be made. I don't want to see the Giants trade anybody honestly, with any value. I'd rather see them trade some AAA players or draft picks or something like that, because you're building off of really small value right now. You don't have a lot of value on the field, so you don't want to give up what you have for a superstar that isn't really going to make this team a winning team that way. Baseball is one of the sports, guys, where that when you sign a superstar, that does not equal wins necessarily. If you're a Giants fan, look no further than Barry Bonds, one of the best players to ever play the game. Some people will argue he was the best, but he could not get a World Series ring there because it is a team sport, and it is all about how you collaborate together and play as a team to win. One player is not going to affect the team to that extent. It will equal some wins, but it's not going to get you a World Series on its own. It's just not. You have to put a good, cohesive team together. That takes time. Basketball, you can look at basketball and say, I add Kevin Durant to the Warriors, and that equals another championship. Well, they were already loaded anyway, so it's really hard to say that that's the case. But he's over with the Suns, and they're doing just okay. So even adding a superstar in basketball nowadays, just one guy, isn't going to get it done with the way that the NBA is played now. So across sports in general, guys, you really have to put together a team that gels together and plays together. And getting that superstar is great, but having that superstar is not going to equate necessarily to a World Series. So even if they get a guy now, the task is not over. The job is not done. Their bullpen needs work. their bats need work. They are lacking power massively in San Francisco right now, and I think that's what they need to target, and maybe they will target that trade here or pick a guy up sometime here in the offseason, but expect this to be a process. Expect this to take a couple of years to really get a team on the field that can compete seriously for a World Series. It will take some time, but I like what they're doing. I like what Buster Posey's doing, and hey, I can look at the A's and look at the sabermetrics that they used to do and say that it doesn't work. That's not actually true. I do like looking at the players and looking at the numbers, and numbers equal runs equals wins a little bit. But without the cash to back it and get some quality players on the field, it is really hard to win the whole thing. So that's why I am glad Buster Posey is here and Zaidi is gone, although I think Farhan Zaidi has some value. I just don't think that the way he was running the team made any sense, because I don't think he really related to the players. I don't think he gelled with the players. I don't think he cared about the players. I think he just treated players like baseball cards, and either they're good or they're not, or they're out or they're in. He couldn't attract anybody in because of that reason, amongst others. And so it's good to see Posey here turning the ship around and getting players to come in and compete for a spot here. And the more that they do that, the more they turn the culture around, the more players are going to want to come play for the Giants. So let's see what happens. I'm very, very excited to see how the Giants turn this around this year. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking Warriors talk. Like I said, Daryl the Guru Johnson will be here with me talking about whether the Warriors can keep this thing going. Are they a sinking ship? What's going on with Steve Kerr? A bunch of stuff. So, guys, tune in for that if you'd like. I'm going to be recording with him at 4, which means I will have the podcast uploaded and ready for everybody to view somewhere around 5 o'clock, I'm hoping. It's just a matter of his schedule and how fast I can get the video edited and up. So, anyway, not much more to talk about with the Giants this week, guys. It's kind of the slow time. We're just looking to see if any moves or trades have been made. But aside from that, baseball isn't playing yet. So we're just waiting for training camp to start to get some more details on how this team is going to look. And just remember, even training camp doesn't really tell you a full story necessarily all the time. But I do think it's going to be a competition for the Giants this year at training camp, not just like a warm-up, get ready for the regular season kind of thing like some of the other teams like the Dodgers would have, where it's just kind of like, let's just get into the groove of playing baseball and go. No, this is going to be a little bit more than that for the Giants, I believe. So that'll be a little bit fun to cover. But until that starts, we're just going to have these short videos, 10, 15 minutes, to talk a little bit about any moves that have been made or moves that haven't been made. I think Buster Posey's got to stay active on the phones, got to stay active with whatever players he can pick up until spring training is over and the regular season goes, and even then, he's still got to stay active. But right now, I think it's a very important time for him to try and reconstruct this team, actually, into something a little better than last year and see how it builds into next year. I hate to say that already since the season hasn't started, but just remember, guys, if they make even a wild card spot, I would say this is progress, a lot of progress, something really good. I'm going to have fun tracking them to see how they go throughout the season, and you never know where that might lead. You just never know. So anyway, thank you guys for joining me again. Join me tomorrow. Fully excited about that. And remember, hard work beats talent when talent don't work. I'll keep working hard for you. See you in the next one.